So in this video, we're going to be looking at turtles and tortoises, everyone's friends. They are in an order called Testudines. I think that's how you pronounce that, Testudines. And again, this is sometimes you'll see an older order name, Chelonia. Probably depends on who you ask. Maybe the Chelonia is newer actually. But these guys are known for their shell that develops from their ribs. They were first found over 220 million years ago. There are 356 living species of turtles. They are ectothermic as well, just like all other reptiles. So here are some pictures of some common ones. There's, and these are, some of the ones that we're familiar with. This is the alligator snapping turtle, which is common in this part of the country. Not as common as the just standard snapping turtle. We're actually going to have an entire lecture on reptiles common to this area. So there's turtles and then there's tortoises. Here's just a regular snapping turtle. The difference between turtles and tortoises, and then there's a third group called terrapins, which we are less familiar with in this part of the world. Um, these are more common names than anything. However, turtles can really refer to the whole group and not be wrong. But the word turtle typically refers to species that are more aquatic, like the snapping turtle, alligator snapping turtle, softshell turtle, musk turtle that we have here. Um, Tortoises are usually non-swimming, and you can see just looking at the difference in the feet. So this guy's feet are webbed, and this guy has a long tail. This guy's tail is much more diminished and has these like blocks on the end of his feet. Not good for swimming. We have one species of turtle here. I think it's eastern box turtle is the name of it. And terrapins are usually semi-aquatic, and they have these diamond type patterns on their back. This is kind of a regional distinction again. The word turtle can cover all of these really. Some of them can be very large. Some of them can be up to 2,000 pounds. So these guys can get pretty big. Snapping turtles, in particular, will usually adapt to the pond that they live in. And so if you have a pretty big pond, you can expect some big snapping turtles in there, and they will eat whatever they can put in their mouth. So a little bit about their anatomy. Most of them can contract their necks into their shells, which is a good thing, protection mechanism. And so they either pull their head under their spine, kind of like you see here, because the spine is in the shell. They can't walk out of their shell. The cartoons misled us for years. And then some of them just kind of turn their head to the side like this. They can't contract their head into their shell. So it just depends on the species. So a little bit about their eyes. Their eye position has to do with their lifestyle. Uh, if they are more land-based, the eyes are going to be looking down. If they're more aquatic, like here, that alligator snapper, that looks like it has one of those dog collars on that has spikes on it. There you can see that its eyes are more facing up because it just depends on where it's going to be in the just where it's looking for its food. And so a little bit about the mouth. Um, their mouth doesn't really have teeth. It's more of like a beak. Think of it as like sharp knives coming together. And the whole idea here is to cut the food and then to be able to chew the food. But for the most part, they kind of um, just swallow their food whole. Original turtles, the fossil evidence shows that they did have teeth, but they have lost those teeth. And so for their shell, the upper shell, the part that you see, is called the carapace, and the lower is called the plastron. And the shell is covered in these epidermal type scales. So these are scales here, and those scales are called scutes, and the bottom shell is called the plastron. And so those scales can also be shed, just like any other just like any other kind of scales. Turtles do actually molt, but they molt in pieces rather than the whole. So again, turtles aren't walking out of their shells. Their shell is their backbone. They would die. A little bit more about their behavior. Uh, Something about them walking too, real quick. They have really sturdy feet and strong legs, but the reason that they move so slow is because their shell is so heavy, and so they have traded in speed for protection. It's when they were when they were forming making their character, they decided more protection than speed, and it's worked out for them as far as evolution is concerned because they've been around longer than any other reptile. So they've done it, and a lot of them have the web feet that we showed. Um, Many turtles have exceptional night vision and can see in color, and some of them are able to make noises as well, especially like when courting. They'll do that. Some of them are predators specifically, but most of them are going to be omnivorous, so they kind of just take advantage of whatever food is around.